From the shining domicile that is Pittsburgh Comics, my old mannered comic shop owner, Colin McMahon, transforms into the world's greatest comic book talking TV host. Join us, true believers, for Comics Now!
Hey everybody, welcome to Comics Now for November 2021. We're heading into the holiday season. Lots of stuff going on and lots of great books coming out. Here at the store, we're gearing up for all the fun stuff that happens at the end of the month. We have local comic shop day is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We have Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving, and then there's always Small Business Saturday. So lots of stuff going on at the end of the month, and gives us time to gear up and get the store ready and all sorts of stuff. But all month long, we have lots of neat books coming out, and that's what I'm here to talk about. We're going to start with Marvel, because they have a whole bunch of number ones that people, I think, are really going to be interested in. Starting off, The Hulk number one. Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley have moved over from Venom and taken over Hulk. And Jerry Duggan, who was doing Hulk, has moved over to take over Venom, so they just swapped. But so we're Immortal Hulk, the big long horror story that they did with the Hulk, is over, and now we're back to more regular Hulk tales. The uncontrollable rage of the Hulk has reached an all-new level, and nobody, including the Avengers, is prepared to handle it. But is it really the Hulk that people should be afraid of, or is there something missing to this puzzle? And we also have a Thing miniseries coming, Thing from the Fantastic Four. A lonely evening and a chance encounter, or is it, sends Ben Grimm embarking on a sojourn that will have him encountering and battling figures both old and new. We also have Hawkeye. They just announced there's going to be a live-action Hawkeye show with Kate Bishop. So they're doing another miniseries with Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. Kate's heading home, and as much as she wants to go back to where her friends are, she's changed since she was last there. So she's picked up a pit stop case first. Swanky resort, check. Jewel heist, check. Almost definitely 100% a trap, check. Amazing Spider-Man is going weekly, and the story's going along. Peter's not in good shape, last we saw, and Ben Reilly has taken over the mantle of Spider-Man. And then they're doing, and the big bad is the Beyond Company, who's employing Ben Reilly as Spider-Man, but they look a little nefarious. So they're doing a Point Beyond issue this month that it focuses on the Daughters of the Dragon, who are training Ben Reilly to be the best Spider-Man he can be. So now this is just focusing on the Daughters of the Dragon, and is their skill level enough for the mission Beyond sends them on? Who is this new villain, Obsidian Star? So, new villain alert. Avengers hits issue 50, which is also issue 750, so they're doing a supersized spectacular. Witness the jaw-dropping conclusion to World War She-Hulk. Learn the true purpose of the prehistoric Avengers. Uncover the shocking secret of the Iron Inquisitor. Behold the most powerful collection of super psychopaths that any Earth has ever seen. Watch the Avengers recruit some shocking new members. We also have a Captain America and Iron Man series starting up. A government agent turned Hydra provocateur stages a daring breakout on her way to prison, attracting the attention of both Iron Man and Captain America. When Steve and Tony realize they both have a connection to the slippery fugitive, they team up to track her down, only to discover she's not the only player on the board with big plans and sinister motives. We have giant-size Black Cat Infinity Score. There's been an Infinity story going through a bunch of one-shots and through the last 2 years of Black Cat that it's all culminating in this. This is it, the grand climax to Infinite Destinies and Infinity Score and the totality of Black Cat. Black Cat has brought enough of the Infinity Stones together, collecting a level of power that hasn't been seen in years. But to what end? Death of Doctor Strange is going on, and there's a bunch of one-shots on how it's affecting different characters. This month we're getting Death of Doctor Strange Spider-Man. Part of Strange's will and testament was to deal with particular problems. Is Ben up to it, since it's not Peter? Black Cat isn't a big Ben fan, so she's riding shotgun because she owes Strange to keep an eye on Ben, or to sabotage Ben. We also have Darkhold is also firing up, and it's also an event that's a series of one-shots. So we have a couple this month. We have Black Bolt, which is written by Mark Russell. Black Bolt's mighty voice is his greatest gift, and since childhood, his greatest curse. Recruited with 4 other heroes to read from the Darkhold, Black Bolt thought he was signing up for a battle befitting a king, but the true battlefield is in his mind. We also have Darkhold Wasp. To enter Chthon's dimension and face his darkness head-on, the Wasp read from the ill-fated Darkhold text, and it drove her insane. We also have a new Black Panther book. This got delayed a couple times, but it's John Ridgely and Juan Cabal doing a new Black Panther book. Secrets from T'Challa's past have come back to haunt him. Black Panther receives an unexpected and urgent message from a Wakandan secret agent. Now T'Challa must race the clock not only to save his agent, but also to keep his true agenda under wraps. Because if the truth comes out, it could cost him everything. X-Force Kill Shot Anniversary Special. Celebrating the 30th anniversary of the iconic team, creator Rob Liefeld returns to characters he introduced 3 decades ago to tell a brand new adventure. They're also having fun with this one where he's drawing a different cover with every character that's, I think, ever been on the team, and it was a ridiculous number of covers. Fantastic Four Anniversary Tribute. This is neat. They did it a while back with Giant Size X-Men, where they're basically redrawing the issue with different artists, famous artists taking a page, and they're doing both Fantastic Four 1 and Fantastic Four Annual 3, which was the wedding of Reed and Sue. So they're putting all that into one book. So it's just a huge cast of artists having fun with this. And then we have 2 new Star Wars books. We have Star Wars Crimson Reign. The story that began with War of the Bounty Hunters continues here, featuring the return of beloved characters, shocking twists, epic feats of force, and a story that will reach from Star Wars' darkest underworld all the way to the Imperial Palace on Coruscant. And then we also have Star Wars Life Day, which is a celebration of the galaxy's favorite holiday with a collection of festive tales from all across the Star Wars saga. Okay, on to DC. Now, DC also has a bunch of new number ones, and it's also an annual month for DC, so a bunch of annuals. A new one, this is a new Batman book. When I first saw it, I was kind of like, oh, another Batman book. But this is written and drawn by Jock, who has done some great things on Batman way back with Scott Snyder doing a lot of stuff. So it's nice to see him getting his shot at a Batman book. It's Batman One Dark Knight. From high above the sweltering summer streets of Gotham, Batman planned to escort the Gotham City Police Department as the dangerous metahuman supervillain known as EMP was transferred from a holding cell to his permanent home at Blackgate Prison. EMP's electrical powers posed a threat, but the situation was in hand until it wasn't. Now every light in Gotham is out, the police are in disarray, and a broken, bleeding Batman must fight his way to Blackgate, block by block, dragging EMP behind him. Fear State is concluding this month, and the story's going through Batman 116, Batman Urban Legends 9, I Am Batman 3, Harley Quinn 9, Catwoman 37, Nightwing 86, and Detective 1045. Batman 117 is the grand finale to this story. It's also James Tynion's last issue of Batman. As the full scope of the Scarecrow's plan is revealed, a bloody Dark Knight fights for his life and all the lives in Gotham City against an unrelenting, unstoppable opponent. The shocking conclusion to Fear State is here. Will Batman ever be the same? Then we have the actual wrap-up is Batman Fear State Omega. As Gotham's Fear State comes to a close, a new day dawns in the city, one without Batman. But the Dark Knight's absence does not mean the city is without heroes. We also have Batman Secret Files, The Gardener. This is a new character involved with Poison Ivy. She is shrouded in mystery, her motives a secret, and one cannot help but ask, who is Bella Garten? The Gardener, really? Learn not only how she came to know Pamela Isley, but how she was integral to the origin of the woman who would one day be known as Poison Ivy. Then we have some new series. We have Robins #1. This is written by Tim Seeley. This was in a competition they ran online to see which series would go, and it was all these premises, and fans got to vote, and this was the one that won. The 5 heroes to have donned the Robin cape and mask find themselves at a crossroads in their lives. Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, and Damian Wayne come together to discuss the big thing that binds them together. Was being Robin and Batman's sidekick the best choice they could have made? Then we also have a new one, Robin and Batman. This is by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen, who did Descender and Ascender together. The legendary story of Batman and Robin has reached nearly mythic proportions. The crime-fighting dynamic duo, always one step ahead of the criminals they pursue and never meeting a case too big. This isn't that story. This is the story of young Dick Grayson, newly orphaned, struggling to find his way in a strange, difficult, and dark new world. And they're doing a big anniversary year. There's a lot of villains are having their 80th anniversary along with all the heroes. So they're doing a special Gotham City Villains Anniversary Giant. Gotham City is protected by the Dark Knight, but this city is also plagued by some of the deadliest, most nefarious villains in the DCU. 2021 marks the anniversary year for the Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Ra's and Talia al Ghul, the Mad Hatter, Killer Moth, and the original Red Hood. Also featuring an anniversary celebration of the Penguin written by Danny DeVito, who played him in Batman Returns. Dark Knights of Steel is a new one from Tom Taylor and Yasmin Putri, and the basic idea is what if Superman landed in Camelot, and how that would affect and change things there. An entire medieval world will be forever changed when the spaceship crash lands from a doomed planet. Monarchs will die, kingdoms will rise, and what seemed the end of the world for many was only the beginning. We also have Justice League Incarnate, which is spinning out of Infinite Frontier. After the shocking ending of Infinite Frontier, Justice League Incarnate defends the multiverse from Darkseid across infinite Earths. Following a devastating defeat at the hand of the one true Darkseid, the Superman of Earth 23 leads a team of superheroes from myriad worlds that includes Flashpoint Batman, China's Flash from Earth Zero, Captain Carrot from Earth 26, and the brand new superhero Dr. Multiverse from Earth 8. In a last-ditch effort to save the end of every possible universe. We also have a new Wonder Woman book, Wonder Woman Evolution. Whisked away from the Earth by a distant cosmic entity, Wonder Woman is forced to navigate a series of perilous challenges that will push her to the brink both mentally and physically. At stake is the fate of all humanity, with the alien entities casting Diana as Earth's proxy for a trial judging humankind's worthiness to exist in the universe. Now we're getting some specials and annuals. We're getting Batman, Superman, and the Authority special. Following Mongol's brazen attack on Earth, Superman's world has been turned upside down. Conflict between Atlantis and the surface world, the discovery of an immensely powerful new element, dead refugees with mysterious ties to Krypton, and expulsion from the Justice League. When Superman reforms the Authority to join him in liberating Warworld, Batman asks them to join him for one unorthodox, off-the-books mission he could never ask the Justice League to be part of, and he doesn't expect everyone to come back from. Now we get into a bunch of annuals. We have Batman 2021 annual, which wraps up the Ghostmaker story that's been in the backup feature in a bunch of Batman issues. Joker annual, his first year on the Gotham City Police Department, Police Commissioner Gordon was an intense challenge for James Gordon. He was battling corruption in the ranks, his marriage was in shambles, and the vigilante Batman was clearly welcoming new recruits with the appearance of Batgirl. And the Joker picked his moment to unleash hell. Detective Annual begins their... Detective is turning weekly in December, and this is kicking off the storyline. It's Shadows of the Bat begins here. In the prelude to January's epic new detective event, Mayor Nakano has signed off on the construction of a new Arkham Tower in the heart of Gotham City, and the Bat family is torn. Batman has long seen Arkham as a necessary, if flawed, cog in the gears of Gotham City, a temporary solution to larger problems that in many ways mirrors his approach as Batman. Nightwing, however, who grew up watching Arkham mutate into a villain factory, believes a different approach is needed, but Bruce and Dick will need to see eye to eye on more than just Arkham Tower, as a new villain known as the Mager Man wreaks havoc in the streets and becomes the embodiment of Gotham's broken system. Nightwing Annual gives us Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, the first Robins, both long ago stepped out of the shadows of the Bat and began walking very different paths. But now their paths converge, and these two brothers unite for one goal. With the Eskrima Stick and Crowbar combined, Nightwing and Red Hood are ready to face anything, except for what they face next. Robin Annual ties up the League of Lazarus story and gives us the origin of Flatline, who's been one of the main characters in that. And we get Wonder Woman Annual. Since her return from the sphere of the gods, Diana has tried her best to reconnect her past and those she left behind. But now the past is coming for her. It all begins when a mysterious man appears, claiming to know the dark history of the Amazons. Could his claims possibly be true? And what does this mean for our hero's relationship with those still on Themyscira? We have a Justice League Dark Annual. After barely making it out of Atlantis alive, the Justice League Dark regroups and prepares themselves for the ultimate battle for magic against the finest sorcerer ever to live, Merlin. And we get Superman, Son of Kal-El Annual. John Kent's first days as Earth's new superhero have been a trial by fire. His actions have already put those he loves in harm's way. He has stood strong in the path of constant attacks, but the immovable object is about to meet an unstoppable force. Lex Luthor, the man, the myth, the menace, returns to Metropolis. Next up, we have some new ones from Image Comics. First one, Newburn. This is by Chip Zdarsky. Easton Newburn is a private detective without loyalties, investigating conflicts between rival crime factions while collecting enemies along the way. Then there's A Thing Called Truth, a workaholic scientist who wants to save the world and a woman who fears nothing but discovering her own destiny find themselves mixed up in a chaotic, on-the-road adventure through Europe. Will they manage to find a middle ground between their opposing ways of life, at least long enough to complete their mission? And Phenom X #1. It was funny, he was just on Colbert last night. John Leguizamo wrote this one, and he's actually out there on TV promoting it, which is great. Wrongfully imprisoned and desperate to regain his freedom, Max Gomez agrees to become a subject in an underground government experiment. When the trial gives him phenomenal shape-shifting abilities, Gomez learns his new freedom requires surviving a superpowered war fought on the streets of New York City. And What's the Furthest Place from Here? This is a new one from Matthew Rosenberg and Tyler Boss. The first issue is triple size, real big, chunky, thick book. The world is ended. All that remains are gangs of children living among the ruins. But Sid believes there must be something more out there. When she disappears into the wastelands, her gang will risk everything to bring her home. A story about the things that matter most, your survival, your loved ones, and your record collection. Dark Horse has some new ones. Big thing for them, Brian Michael Bendis is, I guess, done at DC or is finishing up his work at DC and is now going over to Dark Horse, where they're going to publish his new stuff. And the first one is Joy Operations. 55 years from now, Joy is an envoy, a special agent of the Jonando Trust. Trusts are corporate-owned cities that are the centerpiece of modern society. She rights wrongs for the trust. She is excellent, perfection, hard on herself, driven, almost legendary in some part, until one day a voice pops in her head trying to get her to betray everything she has ever believed. Hellboy has a new one, Hellboy: The Bones of Giants. When a startling discovery is made in Sweden, the BPRD sends Hellboy and Abe Sapien to investigate. What ensues is a wild adventure full of Norse legends, mythical creatures, and a threat that could bring not just Earth, but the 9 realms of Norse mythology to their knees. Stranger Things is giving us a winter special. The winter holidays are upon us, and the kids at Hawkins are full of spirit. As they recall stories from their childhood to teach 11 about Christmas, tensions run high as Dustin swears he saw something lurking in the forest outside. Dynamite always is fun for some new books and redoing old books, but we have a new one. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, returns. Sheena is recruited to enter the Biodome, an amazing synthesis of nature and machine, where something has gone terribly wrong. Outside the dome, she faces human trickery and deceit. Inside the dome, she faces the deadly jungle and a fast murdering mystery. And then a new one, Nyx, daughter of a human and the mad god Chaos himself. Nyx's mortal side has been growing stronger, troubling her with an all-too-human emotions. Fortunately, there's still the side of her that transforms into a demon of hellaciousness and requires her to feed on the life force of living beings to survive. Can Half-Demon find her place in our world? Happiness? Even love? Probably not, as she's about to be dragged into her dad's workplace problems. And then Vampirella and Red Sonja give us holiday specials. Boom has a couple new ones for this month. We're getting Dizzy, #1. Dizzy wants to be the best. But in the case of everything she's tried, including roller skating, this teen has only been able to achieve one thing: disaster. Just when she's ready to pack it in, everything changes when the Negatrixes attack, forcing her to take up the mantle of Burb Defender. But if she wants to save the world, she's going to have to assemble the coolest skating crew in the burbs. Regarding the matter of Oswald's body, this one is teased as, if you like, Department of Truth, this might be interesting for you. The Kennedy, where is Lee Harvey Oswald's body? The Kennedy assassination is a rat's nest of conspiracy theories, mafia involvement, the second gunman, government cover-up, but the most important chapter of this sordid tale may just be the theory that the body buried at Oswald's Rose Hill gravesite is not actually Lee Harvey himself. Power Rangers is giving us a new one. What is the true origin of the Phantom Ranger? And what is his connection to the Morphin Grid? We'll find out. Ablaze has a new one. Gilliam March, who's done a ton of art, I know specifically like on Catwoman and stuff, has a new book called Laura. Suffering from the ever-painful experience of unrequited love, 20-year-old Laura takes a look at her life. Is the fact that the boy she has feelings for is in love with someone else mean there is something wrong with her? Aftershock has some neat ones. Croak #1. 7 years ago, an attempt to weaponize dreams resulted in holes being punched through the world we know and the world of dreams. Nightmarish creatures now stalk the land, sprouting from and killing anyone unlucky enough to dream. The only way to save the world is for certain people to have their dreams come true, which is how Risa Harumi finds herself not only fighting monsters, but forced to find true love. The Heathens #1. When evil men and women escape from the depths of the eternal abyss, the pirate queen Lady Shi is sent to retrieve them. But when one of history's most notorious killers breaks free, even she needs help. Enter the Heathens. From hell they come to mete out justice as dark as their own tormented souls. Miskatonic was a series from a little bit ago, and it's getting an oversized one-shot. Even death may die. The horrifying events in the Miskatonic Valley have torn apart retired Detective Tom Marone and ex-FBI agent Miranda Keller. Miranda tries to escape a Deep One concentration camp, and a traumatized Tom is obsessed with finding and freeing her. But soon they both start sharing dreams of Cthulhu, a monstrous entity in the South Pacific who will soon awaken and bring about the end of the world. Ahoy has a new one from Mark Russell, shocking. It's called My Bad. In Gravel City, the supervillain Emperor King has devised not only a sadistic death trap for his archenemy, the Accelerator, but also the means to penetrate the top secrets of his other archenemy, the Chandelier. Aspen has a new Fathom book coming out, The Core. Aspen Matthews was born of two worlds, the ocean and the land. Now deeper within the confines of the earth, a new threat has risen, one that will reclaim the ecosystem for those of much more powerful descent. AWA, which is still killing it here. People just can't get enough of their books, and it's funny how most people seem to read all of it, which is it's a real diverse line. But they have a new one called Knighted. Bob Ryder is a hapless bureaucrat whose bad luck streak comes to a crescendo when he accidentally kills the city's masked vigilante, the Knight. Oops! Now Bob is forced to take on the mantle of the legendary hero before the city descends into chaos. Good thing he's got the Knight's former butler assistant to show him the ropes. Black Mask has a new one called Hecate's Will, the story of legendary New York City graffiti artist who has decided to retire and abandon her mission of changing the world through art. But before she quits, she's going to create one final street art experience, a graffiti scavenger hunt through the streets of Manhattan that will lead her fans to a final message and her artistic treatment. SourcePoint Press, they have a lot of little books. I don't always talk about them because I only get a couple, but they had one that really grabbed my attention. It's called Good Boy. Flint Sparks and his human, John, both former mercenaries, have settled down in a quiet retirement from an industry where the job is supposed to be forever. But unlike anyone before, they found a way out. However, this new life, filled with peace and joy, is not to be. In the dead of night, some of their former colleagues, who disagree with their decision to retire, break into their home and murder John, leaving Flint alive in the bloody aftermath. That was their first mistake. And Vault has a new one, a couple new ones. Fox and Hare #1. When black market coder Aurora V uncovers top-secret data has that tapped into the past lives of the citizens of Mazu Bay, her world is turned upside down. The mega corporation Sinistry Designs wants its data back and is hot on her trail. Aurora has no choice but to turn to the Fox and the Hare, the most feared mercenaries in the city, for protection. And then they have last one, Lunar Room, is about a werewolf that's cursed and can no longer transform and has to figure out life. So those are all the hot new stuff that's coming out in November. Just a heads up, that we're getting affected with all the shipping problems and everything that everybody else is as well. So a lot of books are slipping. I know a lot of books that were supposed to come out in October are going to slide to November. So some of these might not come out until January or until December. So we're doing our best we can. We put out what comes in. So as always, we're going to have a theme of the month that I haven't come up with yet. So look on the website and I'll post it there. I'm gunning to have book club come back in January. That's my hope, that we can start getting together again. So that's what's going on at the store. Again, pay attention to the end of the month. We'll be having big sales and all sorts of neat stuff going on. So if you have any questions, the website's pittsburghcomics.com. Facebook is Pittsburgh Comics. Twitter and Instagram are PGH Comics. So stay tuned for Comics Previews Theater, and thanks for watching.